Our young ladies really competed at a very, very high level. We have a ton of respect for North Dakota State. We've obviously seen them quite a bit in the past, and they are really, really good. I think they've turned their opponents over on average 21 times a game because they do things that are a little bit different, unique. They have good size, good length. They were averaging 16 offensive rebounds coming into the game. They were scoring 82 points a game. They pushed the ball up the court. They got to the free throw line in their first 2 games on average of 30 times a game. So what they do is really hard to combat. I thought our intensity was at a very good level tonight. I thought we had a number of players who did things that were outside of their comfort zone a little bit and played at a very high level. So a good opportunity for us to grow and get better, and I thought we did that going into this game and got to see that tonight.
Talking about Amaya, I mean, she's had really nice assist games before. She had a career high in scoring, but she kept her turnovers down. I mean, the ratio is starting to go like this. Can you just talk about maybe her improvement in that area?
Well, she's someone who really wants to be good, and we've said that about our team and about a lot of our young ladies, but she's someone who asks a lot of questions, wants to continue to understand why and what she needs to do to get better. And I think our coaches are really good at really spelling things out and giving her opportunities to see different things, whether it's in film or whether it's in practice scenarios, game scenarios, and keep working with her. And she's been incredibly receptive. So I thought she played a very, very good game. I thought it was really hard for us to get the ball entered into an offensive look because they switch every screen, or at least switch 1 through 4, and they're so long it makes it difficult. And so we had Amaya come off a number of ball screens, and she made a lot of very good things happen with it.
The decision making was good, I thought.
Right.
There's a couple times maybe she forced her
Right.
shot, but generally speaking, she was making the right decision every time she did that.
She was. I thought what made it a little bit challenging for us, we couldn't get the ball moving and swinging and then attack because of how they were playing, and so we just had to come down the floor and attack. And I thought she and Janae both did a really good job of getting us some very good opportunities. And with the way that they guarded, they weren't coming in or coming over to help, and so they were forcing those kids to find ways to get shots off or scored at the rim, and I thought they did a really good job of that.
And Mallory, looking for her shot, I
Right.
guess. I mean, it seemed like she kind of turned down a lot of shots, especially the last game. I mean, she's been very consistent on the rebounding end, but you had to kind of like her maybe looking for her shot.
Well, I thought Mallory played a great basketball game. I thought she was someone who really helped us, obviously, on both ends of the court. And someone who I think for us offensively is learning to be comfortable handling it more, looking to attack, whether that's shooting, posting different things. I thought defensively this was her best game. In her awareness, effort, understanding. I go back to the last possession where she got through a stagger screen. The possession before, she got caught and we gave up a shot on the top. And then the next one, she gets through. She has great awareness, and then they get called for a moving screen. So the adjustment that she made from one possession to the next was outstanding.
Mara just get a little bump in the head there?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, hard to tell, but obviously she was okay to play, and she came back and showed a lot of toughness to do that, but it was pretty puffy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there wasn't like a stitches type thing? It was just
I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure yet.
A lot of them, I mean, Sunday's game's a huge game regardless, but there's so many ties,
Right.
kind of intertwined in this game. I mean, what are you looking forward to the most, and what do you think would be your biggest challenge on getting them to focus and forget about all the past, I guess?
Well, this group has been very attentive, and when they understand what it takes and they focus on those things, they typically have done a really good job of it. The hard part going into an early season matchup, whether it was game 1 with a new team, whether it's game 2, now it's going to be game 4. There's a lot to learn in the game and be really comfortable with it, whatever looks those are. And so I think we are just getting better at understanding and being able to make adjustments throughout the course of time. So it's certainly an incredible challenge. I think finding a way to put ourselves in positions to compete is going to be really, really important. What does that look like? I don't know, because we spent all our time and effort on getting ready for North Dakota State, because I really think this is a team that has a chance to win the Summit League title this year. I think they're in the running. I think they're picked second, but they're a team that's a very, very tough opponent. So for us right now, we've got to make sure that we get recovered, because this was a very physical battle. And hats off to North Dakota State for being like that. That's what Sunday's gonna be again. And so we've got to take care of our bodies and get ready to go, and then, work to put ourselves in good situations, whatever that looks like. And again, I don't really know what that looks like yet.
You seem to be doing a lot of instructing while the game is going on, particularly on defense. Is there still a lot of teaching that needs to be done here?
There's a lot of teaching that needs to be done, and I think what we have to, and this is hard for any team, but I think what we have to really understand is that when we're playing against teams like North Dakota State, we play against teams like Connecticut on Sunday. As soon as you relax for a split second or you miss an assignment, those teams are making you pay. You miss a ball screen assignment, you miss whatever it is. You're watching in the help side and there's a stagger screen happening. You miss something. The teams like this make you pay. And so for us to understand, to be wired to be in that, have that urgency at all times. And when teams do things that switch the defense, like we saw on that stagger screen, that makes it really tough. One thing I think UConn does an incredible job is they space you so well. It makes it really, really tough. So, I certainly we will learn to get better in those situations, but we can't ever relax defensively.
And when you're playing UConn, that's a team that's going to bring in with more size, more speed, probably
Right.
more savvy than
Right.
what you've played so far.
For sure.
How big of a learning experience is this going to be for your kids? Because a lot of them not seen something like this before.
Right. And I think ultimately we've got to find a couple key things to work on and really focus on that give us the best chance to be out there and compete. And that's what we've got to figure out what that looks like.
After a very impressive first half, particularly the second quarter, it was even in the second half.
Right.
So obviously for you guys, there's probably a lot to teach off this game, even if
For sure.
it's being a win. I was wondering if one of those things wasn't the defensive boards, because they got a good bit of those, especially in the second half.
They did. I thought, again, North Dakota State is a team that they're a very good team. And the teams that we play that are great teams are going to, again, when you relax for a second, you miss an assignment. And I think a lot of times it started when we gave up 3 offensive rebounds in 1 possession. It was we missed an assignment on a baseline drive help. Right? So then we talked about that in the next timeout. We missed an assignment in baseline drive help. The kid got a shot. Then there was I think she got her offensive rebound. And then we didn't box that kid out in a short shot. And then they got the next one. I think we fouled them. At that point in time, it's kind of like, well, you feel like, well, it's a matter of time. We're going to get called for a foul. Let's hope they don't make it at this point in time. But that's a learning opportunity, because if we get to the first baseline help, we probably take that away. So I thought, we got caught in situations where they made us pay when we lost or weren't aware, or we didn't practice it enough. Maybe we didn't practice helping in that situation. We practiced helping over from somebody on the opposite corner rather than somebody on the block. So different opportunities for us as coaches to go back and evaluate too.
So you mentioned that players in this game were playing, like they're taking risks outside their comfort zone. Why do you think they were compelled to do that this game as opposed to other games?
Well, I think they're learning, and again, the example I used, I guess Amaya was comfortable, Janae was comfortable attacking and doing something and penetrating to score and making some different things happen. I thought Sophie Hart did a great job. We got to a point where we switched some ball screens. Again, we've played against NDSU and Heaven Hamling scored 30 on us. I think it was 33 actually in the game, maybe 36. I don't know, it was a lot. So we have a ton of respect for her. We know how well she can score the basketball. And so there are times when Sophie had to switch onto her in a ball screen action to try to slow down. So they had the possessions where they were driving in the lane. They turned the corner on the ball screen. And so then we called the timeout, or there was a timeout, and we said we're going to switch it and we're going to keep it out of the lane to the best of our ability. But then Sophie had to go out as a 6'4" post player and guard whatever Heaven is, 5'8". We'll give her 5'8". She'll like me for saying 5'8", right? 5'8", 5'9"?
That's 5'8's accurate.
Is that 5'8" is accurate? Okay. So as a 5'8" perimeter kid who can really, really shoot it and can really score it, Sophie had to trust herself, but also trust her teammates, that she had to take away the arc shot to the best of her ability. And then when she was going to the basket, if she got beat, that her teammates had to help her. And so those type of things, again, why in this game? Because we're just learning what it looks like. We have to, and we learned in a scrimmage what it shouldn't look like. And we got to watch that film to say, you've got to trust yourself, you got to trust your teammates, and we have to be able to do that for each other. And so those are all things that as we learn more, then we've seen different things. Okay, we can go back and we can have a point of emphasis or a point of reference. All right, when NDSU did this to us, we had to make this adjustment. And we don't have that many games under our belt yet or experiences yet.
When you see a lot of the physicality, the bumps and bruises, what are you thinking of when you see one of your players fall to the ground either on a hustle play or after getting fouled?
Well, I thought our young ladies played their tails off. I thought we really competed at a very, very high level. And I was very proud of them for doing that. It takes what it takes to be really good defensively, and it takes a lot out of you, which is why we have to. It'd be great to have another day to prep for UConn, but we don't have that. We physically have to be ready to play as hard as we can play. And so that takes that takes an intentionality on their part to make sure that they're doing that.
Has Coach Collins ever beat you?
Yes, once.
One time?
First time in my
Oh. I was gonna say, he was probably glad when you left the league, and now he had to deal with you again.
Well, I did tell Heaven Hamling I thought we were done having to scout her and play against her. It was hopefully at this point in time, that she'll graduate and move on at some point in time. Abby Schulte's another player. I asked her before the game, well, how old are you now? I feel like you've been around forever. She was a great player as a freshman, and that was a few years ago. So, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with a number of their players. Great deal of respect for how hard they play.
With UConn allowing around 28% three-point percentage, is it going to be a little bit more of a volume game or a little bit more of a quality shot game?
I don't know how to answer that at this point in time. I do know this. They are just elite in every way, shape, and form. They're elite defensively. I think last year their defensive field goal percentage was somewhere like 34%, which is that's unbelievable. But they score it at such a high percentage. They are smart. They pick on different scenarios. They're really well spaced. So I don't know how to answer that at this point in time. We haven't figured all that out, but ultimately we're going to have to do our best to take what we can get, what are good shots.
All right, we good?
Thank you.
Thanks.